Welcome to the youth political podcast that is PolitiBabble, where this week, well, it's the political summer.
I'm Oliver, and as usual, I'm joined by my co-host, Archibald.
Well, I must say, we've said it's a political summer, but it isn't really looking that summery today. It's quite cloudy, grey, and it's supposed to rain the next 2 days. But, you know, we've had a lovely past couple of weeks enjoying the lovely sunny Isle of Man, I must say.
Yes, no, I think we're in need of some rain at the moment.
You want the summer to go away there, Oliver. What's a shame.
Well, no, I think it'll be back next week. I think it's just going to have a few overcast days ahead of us.
Most likely. So it's the last episode of the season. We will be back, don't worry, in September, in the lovely lead up to the next general election. But we're
absolutely very much looking forward to that.
Yes.
Wow, 9 episodes, and this is my first ever series, and I've done 9 episodes. It's gone so quickly, I do have to say, but it's been most enjoyable, and I hope if you've been watching this that you've really enjoyed watching this as well, because I've definitely done so. But and if you have any suggestions for the new season of topics that you'd like us to discuss, then please do let us know. You can get in contact with us at PolitiBabble at gmail.com. I think I've got that right. So yeah, it's been a great series, but I feel like we've got a lot more under our belts that we've covered, or a lot more to discuss. So I've really enjoyed it. So yeah, we're about to go on our summer break. Have you got many plans for your summer?
Well, Oliver, it is our summer recess after all. So
yes.
I do kind of have to. I am required, I think, by virtue of it being our lovely summer holidays, to play this.
Absolute tune.
Exactly. I couldn't resist.
We're all going on a summer holiday.
Absolute classic.
Couldn't resist. Yes, we are heading over to our lovely summer holidays on our summer recess, just as like many parliaments all across the world do. Even though we're not a parliament, we're a podcast, but we're taking that summer recess anyway.
Yes, definitely.
Always nice to have some time off. So yeah, most parliaments across the world will have a summer recess, generally between like July and September, more late July in the case of the UK, in September, and that really gives politicians time to catch up on their constituency work. Some just see it as a jolly, like the general public might see it as a jolly to like go off, have some fun, but lots of them do actually work over the summer.
Yeah, I think that's like for many jobs that, you know, it's the same for teaching and stuff, is that not many people take a break over that time. Yeah, they take a step back. I mean, they're not in the workplace.
Well, some politicians just go, that's me off for the summer. That's me, on to recess. And then they usually have the party conferences towards the end. It's the UK generally. Yeah. But other countries, they generally they have time off. So it's quite a nice job, really, to have as an MP. You get your, your holidays. You get your six recesses during the year. You get your Christmas recess, your summer recess,
Easter recess.
All of these. So will we say it's running from like July 22nd to sometime in late September. It's quite a long break, isn't it?
Yeah, well, like I was saying, you know, it's some people decide to take a step back, some people don't. So I don't know whether they should have, you know, sort of a shortened break. I mean, you know, it's up to someone's choice whether they want to carry on with their work or not. It's up to them. I mean, but like you say, the constituency work still carries on. People still have issues that they want sorting out. I think it is quite a long time. Quite a considerable amount of time. Maybe they should just have maybe a period around Christmas where it's a bit longer, and then pull back the time around the summer.
But they are actually not required to do any work at the
summer.
They
don't. Yeah, they're not required, but some do choose. You know, so if you're not required, then you know it's what you want to do, isn't it?
So technically, it is actually possible for them, an MP, to do nothing for 11 weeks. They have 11 weeks off, fully paid.
Wow.
Which is quite a lot if you consider the usual job maybe has like 26 paid leave over a whole year. But we have obviously MPs. They get 76 days summer recess. Which I think is perfect fair. They do a hard job anyway.
No, they
but
do.
It is quite a long job, and people I think maybe on the left they've criticised it more. I think Chris Mullen was one of the Labour MPs there, was quite vocally critical of it. But again, if we're looking at, some people may want to introduce a 4-day week, so you just balance it out. So I'd rather work a 5-day week and have an 11-week recess in the summer. I'm not sure about you.
I mean, I'm not too sure. I quite like the idea of a 4-day week, but then people would probably make the 4-day week something like 9 o'clock in the morning till 6 in the evening or something. I prefer sort of maybe shorter days, or start. I prefer to maybe start early and get things out of the way. But it is a long time. It is a long time.
But we're taking our summer recess, all of us.
Yes,
so we can't complain.
Because we need the break as well,
we
guys.
do from this very, very hard work here. And rest assured, we will be doing stuff, I suppose. We've got we're producing a radio program, so that will come out.
Especially if you're interested in Isle of Man politics and you watch this, then look out for the start of September. We've got a program going out called Youth in Election, which should be out early September. But we thought the reason why we thought we'd take a break is we've got other things to focus on. We're very
busy people. Yes. Very important. We've got much more stuff to do, of course.
Yeah, but no, because we want us to come back in September fresh, bringing new ideas to the podcast, and lots more topics, and
I'm sure you want that too.
Yeah. And focusing in on building up to the Isle of Man general election, which me and Archie are very much looking forward to. And obviously we've got our campaign / organisation group going on to help increase voter turnout amongst the youth, called Youth Vote IM. Yes. So we're working on that as well. But we thought we'll take a very well-deserved break for the summer.
So without further ado, we move on to the best part of the week, which is our current affairs with Oliver. So, Oliver, what's happening?
Well, COVID's still in the spotlight here on the Isle of Man. There is, I think, approaching 2,500 cases. I haven't looked at the most recent update. I shall do so now. And the lateral flow tests are still in high demand. Bearing in mind, in April, the health minister said that they were unnecessary. What else has been going on? Not an awful lot apart from COVID, but we found out that there's been a £100,000 bill for Comin for media training. So that's quite a substantial amount of money.
Have we had media training, Oliver? We should be cashing in on this government media training.
I do have to say, I don't know about you, but I've never had any media training in my life. So.
Well, I have, but we can ignore that. But I think it's fascinating that they spend 100,000 over 5 years on media training, and yet these are politicians who've been in for over a term. So surely they would have some sort of public relations experience. Or you think there's already a government in-house team on media, which there is. There's a communications division, which is about 6 people in the cabinet office. Do you think they'd be able to do some in-house training, and you wouldn't have to then pay £100,000?
Yeah, you would think that they would have someone that could do that. That is their job.
2 more MHKs for that money.
I mean, yeah, no, you could definitely.
Yes.
Another thing that I forgot to discuss was there's been a lot of how can I put this? I'm just thinking to myself. So that on social media, there's been a lot. The police have been publishing about young people jumping into harbours. The way I was going to go with this is that. People are saying that young people don't have enough to do on the island. So,
I think it's fair.
Do you believe? Well, and people say that. So the reason why I went on this is because the police have said that the parts of piers around the island have been sectioned off to stop young people jumping in, which I think's fair enough in some cases, because at the moment there's a lot of marine traffic, and it is quite dangerous because unless you know that the tide is at its highest point or is quite high. Then, and also you don't know what's underneath the surface. You don't know that something's not floated in, and
safety-wise, it makes perfect sense. And interestingly, they've now made people more aware. I had no idea of this before, like last week. There's actually a £5,000 fine, maximum fine, for jumping into a harbour
and also swimming in
a harbour. Yes.
But no, it's just that thing. I know the police are doing currently like sort of consultations around the public neighbourhood areas, so like Peel, Port Erin, Castletown, Ramsey, on neighbourhood policing. And I saw a statement last night from one of the MHKs who's saying, well, no, the police are looking into maybe creating or advertising a safe place to go, which is safe. But it is a thing that lots of young people, there's a lot for young people to do on the Isle of Man if they get involved in sort of clubs and stuff. But, you know, places to go outside of arranged things, there isn't a lot to do, you know, in sort of... they're outside organised events. So yeah, that was just a main thing. It is dangerous, so I wouldn't advise doing it. But
exists, and you know.
Yeah, but it is that thing that young and so what I was trying to say
do you have
was
enough to do, Oliver? There we are.
Yes, I believe so.
And
yeah.
you're a young person, therefore there's plenty of stuff for young people to do.
But people have been putting on social media, police spoiling kids' fun. The kids are only trying to have fun, which I do agree. It's getting kids outside. It's getting them off their devices and stuff.
But it's the thing is that they don't realise their own risks. It's basically your kids have fun, and they could become paralysed for life. They don't. They don't add that part in.
Yeah, but people are saying, look, there's risk with everything, which is true. But it is quite a high risk thing to do. Anyway, moving on to sort of, I'm not going to go into a particular topic. I'm just going to get your thoughts and sort of my thoughts on the current COVID situation on the island, because I think that's quite a broad term and you can go into quite a lot of things at the moment. But clearly, with the way that government have changed their regulations, which means that under 12s, when coming back to the island, don't have to be tested and won't be vaccinated.
I think personally this is it's quite ridiculous, because 12 to 17-year-olds also can't be vaccinated currently.
Yes, currently.
They currently can't be vaccinated.
We do predict that things are going to change, hopefully.
May change, but currently they can't. And we have to accept, well, currently there's not saying they will in future. Currently they can't at all. But under 12s now don't get tested. Under 12s are just as likely to spread it as 15, 16-year-olds who also can't get the vaccine.
Yeah.
And it's a very... Again, this is age discrimination. I
No,
think
it's-
there could potentially be. I think there were people looking to bring a suit against the government, kind of for breaching the Equality Act.
But well, it's true, and the same people are very passionate about the borders. But like David Ashford and Howard Quayle have said, is it's not going to be like this forever. They're putting this in place to be safe. But the way the government is currently responding to COVID, is that I believe that there's not enough mitigations put in place. I do believe that we should be starting to live with the virus a bit more, but we don't need loads of mitigations. We just need slight ones. So maybe masks on public transport, maybe. But people like the government have defended the mask situation and saying, well,
no, I think it's
we can't make it mandatory. It's hard to police, but it's not hard to police when you're only doing it in specific scenarios. Yes, if you go outside and everyone has to be wearing masks, whatever you do, well, that's not ideal. It's not practical.
But I think there is a point where we do have to learn, I suppose, to live with the virus. And living with the virus, we masks. They have to have their use. And if you had the virus and you wear a mask, you're unlikely to spread it. But if you don't have the virus, it doesn't really protect you from anything. And yes, it does reduce if you had it from transmitting it. But as we see currently, we have 2,500 cases and 6 people, unfortunately, in hospital. But if we looked back to, I think, April was a good point.
850
where we had
cases.
850 cases and 26 in hospital.
Yes.
So there's not such a need now. I think if we do roll out the vaccination, again, if we roll it out to the young age groups, which have been approved by the MHRA, then
not the JCVI,
they decide the vaccine rollout, but the regulator has approved the vaccine, so we would, in theory, get common indemnity.
And yet
that I think would be better. But again, it's all speculation. We're not.
But Isle of Man government, same with a lot of things, only want to base their policy off other jurisdictions and how they've done. And they always say, well, we're going to do things differently. It's like, we're going to do things differently to Guernsey, Jersey, and then, but it's just like...
They're not consistent.
That's but yes, currently, obviously, the lateral flow tests are in very much high demand. I do think that that they're a great item, that they're a great thing, but if if you don't have symptoms and you haven't been in someone with close contact to someone that has got COVID, then we don't because we can't depend on every day of our life testing with a lateral flow test. We
could.
We could, but
as you said to me, Oliver, no test, no case.
No.
But it's true. That's obviously in a jovial sense, but we can't be expected to test every single day.
Yeah, it's not practical that the more people we keep putting into isolation. I mean, the 2,500 people, a lot of them are considerable amount of young people, and currently there's a lot of young people helping keep businesses on the Isle of Man.
Well, yes, the thing is, we can't live forever with having 2,500 people in isolation. It's a large percentage of our population. We live on a small island, and it's not getting all those with cases in isolation.
Yeah, I mean, currently, I mean, I know we've been bouncing around on what we're discussing here, but that was my whole point. But currently, there's about 1 in 9 people aged 15 to 24 will have coronavirus, and it's probably actually less than 1 in 9. It probably is around 1 in 9, and 1 in about 37 people of any age do have coronavirus on the Isle of Man. So that's quite a scary statistic, but I feel
self-isolation has continued though in the UK. We see the UK faces kind of this what's called like a pingdemic because they have the NHS app.
Yeah.
And I think last week there's a record 650,000 people being told to self-isolate. Whether they all follow it now, and lots of people have uninstalled the app in the UK because they're like, I don't want to isolate because they've tested negative on all the tests. I heard someone called into Radio 4 the other day. They tested negative on all their tests, but they've still been required to self-isolate. All their friends who they've been with all weren't told to self-isolate. They'd obviously just passed this person in the street.
Yeah.
The app had decided.
But like we say, this virus is it's not a very nice thing to have, and I do want to say anyone that's sort of battling with the virus at the moment or is in hospital, I wish you a full and speedy recovery, because you've got issues at the moment such as long COVID, which is causing serious health implications amongst everyone, and young people at the moment are on the island are really being affected by it. So I do pass on my best wishes to anyone, because it's not a nice thing, and hopefully the further we go we'll have a lot more research, and if people need to. It's about personal choice, isn't it? Now we've sort of discovered, but I do have to say that we do need to still be careful.
I suppose I err less on caution than you on this case, Oliver. But there we go. Well, moving on to some international news. Obviously, interestingly, France has now required all healthcare workers to get vaccine by September the 15th, and a health pass is then required for restaurants, trains, and aeroplanes. There's some flash flooding in London, which is quite shocking. We saw London had record temperatures last week, and now they've faced massive flooding. That's more of a lead on to climate change. And the Olympics has also started, and there's a brilliant Boris clip, which I think I can actually play out the clip that Boris shared. It's the
Hello everybody, can you hear me? This is UK calling Tokyo.
We can hear you loud and clear, Prime Minister.
I'm calling Team GB.
That's my favourite card. It's the Team GB. That's how he pronounces it.
He is most hilarious.
Boris has some absolutely excellent acronyms he comes out. He has obviously the beautiful new blue British passports, or we have even the vegan sausage rolls. And now it's the Team GB.
Funny enough, that was on. It was in a radio station as well, wasn't it?
Was it?
Leading Britain in Conversation, I'm pretty sure it was.
LBC, the London broadcast.
Oh.
Leading Britain in Conversation is their motto.
Oh, is it? Sorry.
Yes.
Not too familiar.
Indeed. But he comes out with some absolutely brilliant
and he was
phrases.
vegan sausage
rolls. Indeed. So yes, I thought I'd play that. It's very hilarious. The Team GB. That's roughly how it goes. So yeah, interesting. Do you think that France should be requiring all healthcare workers to get a vaccine? Mandating vaccine there.
I think it should be very strongly encouraged, but it's again about personal choice, and
it's
if you're
my body,
personal
my
beliefs.
choice. Interestingly, if we apply that, we see. Obviously, it makes sense, and we have. If you look at women's rights, they push for my body, my choice, And then you have the same people in different, not everyone fighting for that cause, but you have different people there who then say, my body, my choice. But yes, you must get the vaccine, otherwise you're being irresponsible. So you're having those two sides.
I think it just needs to be I just think people need to make a very informed decision about, what.
Obviously, I'd say get the vaccine.
Yeah.
But if it was mandated to me the vaccine, I would then probably, I'd be very stubborn and say, no, I'm not getting this because you're mandating me, purely because I believe in the fundamental principle, it is my freedom to choose.
Certainly is.
Yeah. But the flash flooding in London was quite shocking. Did you see those pictures?
I saw a video.
DLR station was completely you saw the water just flowed in.
I saw a video
and
it was
something.
I think it was like someone's flat or sort of. Oh wow, scary. Yeah.
Scary what happens. Well, this is climate change, people. Climate change. But anyway, we can move on
No,
to
it's
our...
not. I deny this. It's totally not.
I'm sorry. I've got to have to cut you off there, Oliver. We can't have climate change denial on this podcast, can we? So
absolutely not.
So we move on to our recommendations. Last recommendations this season. So I hope you have something good, Oliver. I hope you have all three there ready.
You can see from. You can see. No.
So yes. The aeroplane has taken off and we do face our recommendations. So Oliver, what brilliant 3 recommendations in reading, listening and watching do you have for us this week?
Well, I mainly do have watching.
Very good.
There's not very much in my reading and listening inbox at the moment, but watching, there is a tremendous world global sporting event on.
Is there? Had no idea.
It was on the TV earlier, which was the Olympics. I was watching a bit of it yesterday. Very interesting. They had, I think for the first time in a very long time, it's quite a bizarre thing. I'm just going off on a bit of a tangent here, but they had a false start in the men's triathlon.
Did they?
Yeah, for some reason, the boat that leads the swimmers out was literally right in front of all the swimmers where they were going to dive in. I was also then watching the men's mountain biking race. It was really good.
There's some extreme heat there.
They were saying about coping with some of the triathletes as well, coping with the heat. But no, generally do watch it. That's my recommendation for this week because it's on till I think the middle of August. So watch it. Yeah, that's all I've got to say. I could talk a lot more, but there you go.
Well, I'm gonna recommend. I can't recommend watching. So together between us, we have 3. So I have read it. I don't have anything to watch.
Right.
This week.
All right.
So read it. I recommend Under the Wig by William Clegg. It's fascinating. He's very, very leading QC in the UK, Queen's Counsel barrister in the UK. It's a brilliant written book. Very, very quite funny. And very, very interesting to insight some court cases. And then listening-wise, there's a brilliant new BBC sound. I don't know if new, but new. I've listened to it. BBC Sounds podcast called The Fake Heiress, which is related.
I need to get on that BBC
you
Sounds.
Do.
I
it's
do
very
every
good.
week.
Yeah.
There's something makes me want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's all about the fake heiress Anna Delvey, if you've heard of her. She was in New York, the fake socialite who claimed to be a German heiress, and she defrauded millions out of different people. It's quite fascinating. She's now I can't remember what happened to her afterwards. Not got there yet in the podcast, but yes, I do recommend that for this week. So yes, that does that concludes PolitiBabble for this season.
It's summertime.
It's been rather good, hasn't it?
It has. Yeah, we're very much looking forward to our summer. No, I'm a little bit sad that we're departing, but we're looking forward to September very much.
Yes. So, join us. You can join us after our summer recess in the lead up to the Manx general election for yet more discussions about the events of today and breaking down some politics. So do stay tuned. And if you want to listen to some back episodes, you can find them on manxradio.com/podcast/PolitiBabble. That's manxradio.com/podcast/PolitiBabble. And if you do want to engage with some political debates for any reason, do get in touch with either Oliver or I. You can find us obviously through the at PolitiBabble account on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or email us on politicbabble.com@gmail.com. That's politicbabble.com@gmail.com. And we'll be more than happy to engage.
Absolutely. You've been PolitiBabbled.
See you.
Have a nice summer.